sir, has to do with fresh water demand and how it might be affecting our environment here in the Niger Delta. Port Harcourt, in particular. Now, a quick survey, a quick look around the dump sites, even the major streets in Port Harcourt, the drainages, the gutters. We find a lot of plastic, particularly discarded plastic, in these places. And of particular note is the pure water sachet. The water sachet, very popular in these places. And a lot of people don't seem to mind that they are throwing these things away because, after all, it's water. Everybody needs water. But is our demand for water actually causing environmental degradation, particularly in the Niger Delta?
Yeah, globally, you know that about 2.2 billion people are living without access to safe water, and Nigeria is very troublesome. You know, in Nigeria, the statistics is not good at all. You know, over 60% of Nigerians are living safe water. In Niger Delta is even worse because of the kind of industries that we have, and our aquifers are compromised. I mean, the groundwater is compromised, and we are also not helping matters. The dumping sites, over time, they percolate into the ground, which is our very major source of water. So it does. The environment actually affects our the water supply in the Delta. Yeah.
It does affect. Now, you mentioned very brilliantly here that here in the Niger Delta, we are particularly affected because of the industries we have.
Absolutely.
Now, I have a report here, and it makes for troubling read. I like to share some of this information. This was a survey done by an Orish Ebere Orisakwe a few years ago from the University of Port Harcourt alongside John Kanachuku. Now, these are some of the results. Now, the river had the highest level of iron. Wellhead and stream rivers had the highest level of iron. In Delta State, high levels of cadmium were found in Ijala Creek, Ubeji Creek, Jedo River, Ekpan River, respectively. High levels of lead were found in Jedo River, Ekuredu Ishekiri Creek, Ugeli River. In River State, Tombia River had the highest level of chromium, lead, and nickel. Ijala Creek, Ejaetan, Ifiekporo, Ubeji Creek, Jedo River, all the Delta State presented high salinity levels, that's salt levels. Orash River and Egbo Stream had the lowest pH of about 5.2, 5.3, and 5.53 respectively. Now, all of these, right, mean that somehow these heavy metals have gotten into our aquifers, our water bodies, but nobody seems to be paying too much attention. How is this so?
That study is accurate. The metals that are tolerable, that by the World Health Organization, the kind of iron that we need in water is expensive. We have had calls severally to go into. We invited quite a lot of people from overseas to come see and treat this our water.
Yes.
It's been very, very difficult. It's very, 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 very difficult. And it's not very, very straightforward. It's expensive and also very difficult to treat. But that's how we found ourselves. And we are not actually, we are far below the World Health Standard in terms of even the quality of water of after treatment. It's quite a big issue. But that's how we found out. We have raised issues, and the water engineers have raised issues, and see how we can improve the the water quality in the Niger Delta. And of course, the oil exploration is not even helping matters because they also help to affect our river.
This water engineer in River State here. But sir, let me get to you now. You said over the years you've raised concerns, and may I be so bold to ask, when you say engineers, are you talking about the body, talking about the Nigerian Society of Engineers? Have they directly or indirectly asked for or specialists to come make analysis? And were government officials in the know about some of these results, these tests that were carried out, particularly in the Niger Delta?
Very well. In fact, we've had conferences and on this matter, roundtable discussions several years ago. Even though very recently, in the past 5-6 years, these issues have not come up. But in fact, part of the concerns we have raised in Niger Delta is about water supply. What we are seeing in organic cleanup is just a child's play. It's been there. It's been there, and even worldwide, 95% of the water on Earth is actually salt water, and only 3% is fresh water. And you can imagine what it is like if you divide the Niger Delta. A good portion of it is fresh water, and a good portion of it also salt water.
Yeah.
Big volume of salt water, and it's the treatment, the desalination of salt water. And after that treatment, it's not even very good. It's not. Many people don't even like consuming that, and it's also very expensive to do so. So, but what we need essentially is to if you ask me, to do some more research, and of course get some more funds to help the Niger Delta get our water needs met.
All right, so more research is done. Like you just mentioned, the organic cleanup is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes,
having water bodies being decimated, so that means people's economic livelihood. Talking about fishing, for example, have been decimated all the way down to Warri and part of Warri. You have water bodies, which very interestingly are brackish. Sometimes saline, sometimes freshwater, depending on the tide and the season. So all of these things in the mangrove areas have been decimated. Some of these places have been decimated. So one, the economic livelihood of those people obviously being shunted. They have to do something else to make money. But what about those living in the urban areas? If you go to places like Port Harcourt, where we are, for example, Warri, Edo, Benin, Yenegua, even Uyo, a lot of people see water as, oh, we have water. You know, we are buying water from water companies, bottles, pure water, sachet. You know, it's big business, but we have water. But I'm receiving a message here, and someone saying that in parts of Yenegua, they don't drink the tap water. Why is that so? The water that comes from the tap, from the boreholes, why can't they drink it?
In Yenegua, it's a very pathetic situation because the iron quality, the iron content there is so very high. In fact, recent study, we don't even drill too deep into the aquifer. We drill just by the river, a surface phenomenon, not too deep. And it acts, the sand acts like some form of filtration.
Okay.
If you go further, if you drill deeper,
Yeah.
the iron content increase with them.
I need to ask.
Yeah.
I need to ask because a lot of people are listening right now and they're confused. Where did the iron come from?
The iron comes from, of course, it's a natural endowment. Unfortunately, that is part of what we are faced with. It is what is. It's just like a part of the minerals that have been deposited here, so right in the rocks in the aquifer. So it is not as a result of industry No,
Okay.
they are natural things that have been there, yes.
Okay.
That have been deposited there, sure.
Oh, okay. So
In,
that's for
in,
Yedegoa.
in places like the old mentioned. So,
Hello, sir.
yes.
Okay.
In the places like Port Harcourt, do we really drink safe water when our boreholes are our sockaway pits?
Oh.
There is ingress, and you see a lot of there's a requirement. There's a distance requirement between a borehole and our sockaway pit.
Yes.
But you see, 5 meters, 10 meters, of course, we drill boreholes, and there is ingress. There is ingress into the boreholes, and the kind of water we drink is even compromised. And this is the water we buy.
So are you saying because people don't keep to standards, engineering standards as regarding having your sewage pits, what particles or substances from the sewage pits tends to mix with the borehole water?
Absolutely. The minimum requirement by standard is about 15 meters away from because of the impact. Some countries like Ghana is about 30 meters away. That is the standard practice. But here we tolerate about 15.
Wow.
Now, but you see boreholes are close to sockaway, and that is completely not. Unfortunately, the government institutions are not helping matters. The sanitary inspectors are doing nothing, and but that is the kind of water. So waterborne diseases increase on daily basis in Port Harcourt. This is the people will go buy water from. They have boreholes, and they package these things, and sell. So, but with this new. With this partnership now we have with the African Development body with River State government,
okay,
trying to do this water supply scheme,
yes,
probably we will have a respite. We have a respite, but I think the issues are much more than that. Somebody has predicted, many people have predicted that in 30 years' time, a liter of water will be more expensive than a liter of gasoline. It's an issue because year in, year out, just like you mentioned, even the waste, the water, the plastic bottles,
the plastic bottles, yes.
Yes, and some plastic bottles are effectively speculate. This can circulate into the ground water. That's our main source. Our fresh water we have around us, the turbidity is very, very high. You take the water, you take a glass of water, you see very highly suspended materials inside the water. And, so it's a challenge to us. And that is why we welcome this African development project that is coming on board. And if it comes on board, if there's proper rectification that will go to the nook and cranny of the urban areas, I'm sure it's going to help matters. Perhaps going to reduce case for drilling, sinking boreholes
everywhere. Yes, that's been a big concern. Now, my final questions to you. I just have two questions. Hopefully, we can nail them down in the next 2 or 3 minutes. This idea, right, of scarcity of water is global. In desertified regions, they are struggling to get water. South Africa a few years ago experienced a shortage so bad that they had to ration water to citizens in parts of Cape Town and across the country in South Africa. But over here, we see people seem nonchalant over their usage of water. People waste water. In River State, I've seen several pipes being burst, and nobody seems to take note of it. We have people who just open taps when they're fetching water at public venues, and they just go out. I grew up in Port Harcourt where we had to go all the way to back of Shell Gate, the what do they call it, Shell IA industrial area, to fetch water when I was growing up. That's a long distance back in the day. And the taps would just be gushing out. why don't we seem to have respect for water? Why? Who's meant to tell us to, hey, turn off your tap? How do we get this message out?
You are very right. It's a general phenomenon, our own thing. Whenever the things are free, people like to treat it that way. I feel saddened when I see taps. I've jumped out of my car to close taps that are running. It's bad, and I can tell you for free that again it has to do with our attitude, our general attitude. In fact, in countries that are some countries, what they do, even they recirculate our sewage waters, and they are used for construction work and so on. So the treated water that is expensive is exclusively used for people to drink. If not, what happens is that for construction, the water for construction, you see, completely different from the
water for drinking. Wow.
Yeah, because you cannot put it so much to treat water, then you use it for construction. No. So that is different. In fact, that water comes from a central sewage system which they recirculate, retreat it, which is good enough for even drinking, but apart from the psychology, but it is used for construction works, and then the water that is so people prioritize the water for drinking and the standard requirement for water, every person is by our Nigerian standard is between 10 to 16 liters of water, drinking water in a day. And for use of water for sanitary, flushing toilets and so on, is between 50 to 100 liters per day. This we do not have. And of course, predominantly, we use water part of the country. But
hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. All right. We lost you for a few seconds there. Well, it is a big challenge, and one that we hope we can rise up to. It would be very unsavory for a region such as the Niger Delta, in the midst of plenty, having to suffer these challenges. My guest today has been Engineer Francis. Thank you very much for your time. We do know that you are a busy man. The day awaits you with all its challenges, but thank you for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Well, it makes for grim reading and listening sometimes. But when we come back, we'll be talking about how we, yes, you and I, can do more to protect the environment because of our demand for water. 90.3 Nigerian Info. Midday Dialogue continues.
It's your right to know.
Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers.
We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info. We crossfire in the morning. Get into.
Hello, Uyo. Hello, Owerri. Wherever you're listening to us from online. Hello, Kaduna. Hello, the US. As long as you are online and you're joining us, it's a good morning to you and welcome to the show. A lot of things happening across the globe, but we start off, like I said earlier on, local. Our conversation this morning has to do with water. Yes, yesterday was a World Water Day, but we are looking at how our need, our demand for water, particularly fresh water, is affecting the freshwater bodies in the Niger Delta. Now, we got to speak to an engineer a few minutes ago, And I'd like to get to hear from you. Those of you who live in Bienagua in particular, in Port Harcourt, Inowere, Ahoda, Igboeche, wherever you're listening to us from this morning, I'd like for you to call us. Tell us how much you spend on getting water. And in particular for us, this conversation, how do we get people to stop water wastage? It is a big problem. I was very shocked to learn from our engineer that whilst the stipulation is about 15 meters distance between your borehole and your sewage pit, most people don't. And now that I think about it, I've been to homes, particularly when I was in the university, where people just have a small, a plot of land or half plot, then they build buildings and say students come and rent. And then you wonder, where's the borehole? Where's the sewage pit? In the same small space. It's disheartening. 08179230002, 08179230003, 08179230007, and then the female caller line is 0817-923-0009. WhatsApp and Telegram available on 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. 90.3. Good morning. All right, apologies there. Please, when you're calling, do well to turn down the volume of your radio set. Turn down the volume of your radio set. WhatsApp and Telegram once again 0809 030 6416. 90.3. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Christian.
Welcome, Christian. It's a pleasure to hear
I'm
from you.
calling from Port Harcourt.
Welcome.
Now, you have discussed a number of things with the engineer, and I just feel I should make this contribution.
Yes, please.
First, water is a finite resource.
Very so.
Water is a finite resource. That means it can get finished. So there is need for proper management of water. Now, there are various specifications for different sets of water usages. The specification for potability, that's drinking water, is different from that of aquaculture or mariculture and other usages. The specification for open rivers, for spirituality, is also different. There you talk about the status of water and all that. Now, in 2018, I did a study about the water quality of the Soku oil and gas field.
Okay.
And you see that there is metal elevation. There is also the elevation of the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or what we call the polynucleated aromatic hydrocarbons. And these studies are agreed with what Nyakura and Ababi have done on major rivers of the Niger Delta. I wouldn't take you too far so that we don't discuss time.
Yeah.
Now, you asked a question. At a particular study in Yanagua, one of the rivers in Yanagua and Orashi showed that iron was elevated, iron went northward. That is the characteristics of the Niger Delta. Now, the sources of metals are said to be all, not just metals, but even other pollutants are said to be ubiquitous, meaning they are everywhere. First, they exist in the earth crust, and they are naturally freely existing particularly the substances of the earth crust that ordinarily seep into the water bodies through fault lines, major or micro fault lines.
Yes.
Now, ordinarily, let me make this point so that you get this education. Ordinarily, the ones that are contributed from the earth crust will not naturally pollute, contaminate the water quality. Something called carrying capacity. It is only when this pollutant exists in a quantity that is above what the water can naturally regulate itself, that we will term it as pollution. Now you're not asking if what is coming up from the earth crust cannot pollute, what then pollutes the water quality? It is anthropogenic action. Now look at it for instance. There are spills. Whenever spills happen, there is bound to be release of pollutants, including heavy metals. And over time, the heavy metals have a downward in the movement into the sediment.
Yes.
And if it is not well cleaned, it will gradually get into the water and water columns and other areas and pollute it. Now, when you do your waste bins, particularly in areas like Port Harcourt or River State where there is no engineered landfill, they pour their waste and all that. Rain falls.
Oh.
When rain falls, toxic gases and other metals
yes,
are released and washed.
Yes.
And washed into the river.
Oh, jeez.
So terrestrial and production of metals get into the river. Then there are also other places when sometimes, like if you go to abattoirs, they throw away these
the blood
and all
yeah,
that.
Yes.
Together with other things, they generally will call them floatables. When floatables are on the river, what they do is that they attract so many things, but they enrich what we call biological rich, the certain things into enrich the water quality we don't desire this thing. So that also causes trouble. Now, without going too much, we also know that smoke fire, this
artisanal refinery.
Artisanal refineries are going on everywhere. They are unregulated. They affect when they drain. When remnants of those things drain down,
they drain into
they also affect water quality.
Oh my goodness.
So when the water contamination is high, it causes water poverty. It causes water poverty. There's a recent study in the Mieboka area of Obaigoma and Doni by some scholars in 2020. You will see that there is water poverty because of contamination.
Wow.
And that is why if you go to the SDG Goal 6, the United Nations are targeting a situation where water is available to everybody. The reason being that not only for drinking, water has a twin brothers of sanitation and public health issues. Look at the girl child.
They need water to clean up during the regular flow. Yes.
Adaptability to water scarcity. The way a man manages water will not be
the same way a woman
manages water.
Oh my goodness.
A man can, for instance, as vulgar as he is, can go to the toilet in his house and refuse to flush because he has just one bucket. He will come, go to the toilet again, maybe in the evening he will flush and use bleach. A woman cannot because she will come to sit on it. So there is likelihood of infection. She cannot. So you can see all those differences. There are so many demographics of water distance. So we need to have water. And for us to have water, there is a variety of things we need to do right. Our waste disposal system must be right. Now, ordinarily, it is the responsibility of states to monitor, to assess and monitor water quality, be it the open surface water or the groundwater. It is the responsibility of the municipal authorities to go to house to know whether specifications for borehole drilling are done correctly or not, and enforce compliance. Jude, I listened to you when you were talking that growing up you went to Bagate to touch that. It's still done up to the.
Oh. Well, thank you very much. Great to talk to you. It is a big problem that it seems as though people are not paying attention to. 91.3, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello? Okay, apologies, no response there. All right, so let's get to our WhatsApp portal. And I have messages coming up on my own end. Someone's saying, hi, Jude, good morning. Most people growing up in Port Harcourt like you, Jude, I spent, like my parents, a lot of money asking people to bring water for us. A jerry can was 10 naira when I was growing up. Jude, go to town, ask them how much they pay for a jerry can of water. How much is a jerry can of water now? 90.3, good morning.
Yeah, Jude, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm
welcome, Dan.
Yeah, Jude. The Commissioner for Water Resources is from my local government of Nkoro.
Okay.
Like when I went to 93.7, he said they put water at Nkoro, which they are not seeing any water flowing. Now, if you go to townhouses, we have water board there. There's nothing happening there. If you go to Benetka, there's water board there. There's nothing happening there. Water is not rushing. So not coming to the radio. Go about all the communities. Look at the water is and check the water situation. Whether is it good for drinking? You can't go there, so will test this water. If you come to Nkoro, there's no water. The water is not rushing. Everywhere is just empty. And it's from that local government. To have education to this empty.
Water is truly life. 90.3, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning, please.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on, please.
My name is Prince
from the Sanitation Marshal Volunteers.
Welcome, Prince. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. You were talking about wastage.
Yes.
But there's a kind of water that we don't even want, which is the flood water that came in excess of abundance during the last flood to the Arashi area.
Okay.
We don't want that kind of water. That's on a lighter note. But let me say this. The guest you had on studio, the engineer talked about contamination. The ones that have a lot of iron in them, there's nothing we can do about that. But sincerely speaking, most of the pollutions we find in the water bodies have to do with man's attitude to the environment. And that has to be checked. He also talked about people drilling boreholes that are
very close to their sewage. Yes.
Below 15 meters from their sockeway.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah, and in that kind of experience, one would say that people must be responsible for their actions. Yes, there are enforcement bodies that you see that such things don't happen. Beyond the enforcement bodies, agencies, authorities enforcing, I want to say that man is wicked to himself. There are a lot of people that strike their boreholes, and they know the distances, they know the restrictions, the regulations, but they would just don't want to keep to that type of, And eventually we suffer for all kinds of diseases, typhoid, and all the rest. So this your discussion this morning that we need to face the wrath of the law. Because
so I understand the trend. I'm so sorry to interject. But since you work with an organization that helps to promote awareness over these things, one of the biggest problems the documents and reports I've read has to do with our interaction with the environment. Talking about everyday Port Harcourt people, everyday Orashi people, how people just take pure water sachet, throw them into the environment. That's one. Those chemicals, those plastic containers are non-biodegradable. The biggest challenge we seem to have is letting people know that they shouldn't be wasting water and they shouldn't be contaminating the water. People think it's the village people or the government, but I don't see the government telling people throw your waste into the back of the river. Go to Ochoba River, for example. Even the Arashi you made mention of, during the floods of 2012, when Bayelsa was cut off for the rest of the Federation, we saw swarms of plastic material and debris all over the place. Why can't we protect ourselves? Breaking pipes and things like that. What do we have to do to let people know stop throwing trash into the drainages?
Okay, very quickly. We are a voluntary organization, the Sanitation Marshal Volunteers. We are voluntary. And having said that, sensitization, reorientation, sensitization, enlightenment, education is a continuous thing. Very, very, very continuous. And I'll tell you the truth. Over 80% of persons doing the wrong thing, they know that what they are doing is very, very wrong. But we have to just keep talking about it. At the forum, we talked about how to get the younger ones right from their school education involved in why they must dispose their waste appropriately. It's a culture. They say culture dies very hard. When it's in the kind of lifestyle of the people, you have to go the extra mile. So all agencies, not just government alone, religious organizations, we have to talk about it from the pulpit. The pastor must talk about it in the community setting. The leaders of the community, the youth, the CDC, they have to just keep talking about it. Like I come from a community, Joint Krama, for instance. We have fresh water in our area, but we cannot drink the water. They said it's polluted, and it's true. When you go there, you see some kind of level of oil pollutants on the surface of the water. We drill, and even when you drill a borehole, the level of the zinc iron content is so much. So we treat, at that level, if you can afford your own borehole, you can get water, you treat it the way they do it locally and all the rest, and you get a potable water. But in terms of contamination, it's something that we all must be alive and doing. Somebody drinking, like you said, plastic pure water sachet that doesn't disintegrate. Even the next 50 years, you see it there. They throw it into the drainage system. There are blockages of drainage. We must not wait for government. That's where I'm going. If you see your neighbor doing the wrong thing, caution that person. We just have to keep talking about it because eventually we humans are the ones that suffer for poor environment, polluted water, and must continue it.
Thank you very much, Prince. It was a pleasure to hear from you this morning. Thank you so very much for calling 90.3. Good morning. All right, and so yes, we need to continue to talk about it. And I must say, I think we as a people ignore the government, ignore the officials. I think for a long time we have been very lax. There are so many communities that you get to that people's houses are clean, they are neat, yes, but they're in an environment. They seem to think, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. I've been there from time immemorial. It's going to be there. Water, particularly fresh water, finite. 93, final caller. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Christian from Port Harcourt.
It's a pleasure to speak with you.
This issue of water in Nigeria is a very big problem. I could remember in those days while I was in school in Benue. Before you could wash your clothes there, you spend a lot of money. Take a family of 3 or 4.
Can you imagine?
We spend a lot of money buying water. It's not been easy. Even here in River State now, I am here now, where I live. There's a borehole there, but you can't drink the water. We buy drinking water outside. Like we use bottled water or pure water. We spend a lot of money on water alone. And it's really unfortunate that we are living in a country where government cannot provide common water for the citizens. When I was still in school in Benue, I must tell you that place, I would say that place is the worst place so far. They don't have water. You will see this. You have these people that come around with, they call them water supply. I don't know where they're getting that water from you. The people that are reselling it with, they have big tanks. They will buy it from them. Then you will go there to buy from these people. And I don't know where they're getting those water from. So it's really unfortunate in this country that we don't have water to drink. Yet we say we have government. We have a leader. Honestly speaking, it's a very big problem to us.
It is a big problem. My final take on this. I went to school. We didn't have water. Talking about secondary school, and in those days we used to buy water. They used to bring the water in water tankers, right? And they would dump it in a well. We had makeshift wells that were built, about 4 or 5 of them around. I don't know what the state of the school is right now, but plumbing was terrible. We didn't have plumbing. It was strictly pit toilets. That's what we used. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I kid you not. Back in my secondary school, we used to drink water that ducks had died in. Sometimes you see tadpoles in the water. Sometimes dust, other particles. There were so many things, spirogyra in the water. And guess what I did as a 13-year-old back in those days? I would say this cup of water is my favorite soda drink. I would drink it like orange juice and I'll be fine. We can't be leaving our health to, in quotes, God alone. News, top of the hour, 90.3, Nigeria Info.